Hi everyone, and welcome to this drawing video. In this video, I want to show you how to draw water. For this drawing, I recommend using either an HB or a 2B pencil. I also used blending sticks and a small eraser. If you don't have blending sticks, you can use a brush or cotton buds or even your fingers. Along with that, I also used a white GellyRoll pen. Oh, and the paper I used is smooth Bristol board. I'll make sure to list all the supplies I used down in the description box below. But please don't worry about the art supplies. You can use any pencils and any paper, and I promise you can create something similar. As you can see, I started off by roughly sketching some waves, adding layers that fade into the distance. I also defined the tops of the waves to guide the shading afterwards. Defining the horizon line is also a good way to set the angle and the perspective of the drawing. After that, I started adding a basic layer of shading to each line of waves, making sure to blend this shading with blending sticks to keep it nice and smooth. I also started adding areas of darker shading to the waves in the foreground. With a drawing like this, I think it's a good idea to fade and blur the shading and the details as the waves get further away. This way, it helps to create the illusion of distance. I continued to add darker layers of shading in the foreground, making sure to use blending sticks, and while doing this I also started defining more shapes on the surface of the water between the waves. In some areas I did this to smooth the gradients between the waves, so it didn't look like a flat layer. It's at this point that I started using the small eraser to add ripples to the waves in the foreground, adding them along the curvature of the waves, and using them to define the shapes on the surface of the water between them. And I didn't want all of the ripples to be bright, so I made sure to use blending sticks to fade some areas. This method is really fun because there isn't any specific shape you have to create. Water is always flowing and changing, and any photo you take will always look unique, so I feel like that makes drawings like this a lot more relaxing to work on. It's a good idea to have some reference photos in front of you, but you really don't need to copy them. I find it a lot more fun to approach drawings like this in a relaxed way, while looking at photos for ideas and inspiration. With a sharp lead, I then started to define some darker shadows and reflections on the surface of the water. I also sharpened some lines on the edges of the waves, and then I just continued to render and refine some details across the drawing. And lastly, I used a white GellyRoll pen to add some highlights along some of the waves and the water surface in between. You don't have to do this for this drawing, it's just a personal preference of mine, and you could use any white ink pen or even white acrylic paint. And after that, this drawing was completed. It took about 3 hours and 15 minutes, and it was so much fun. This style of drawing is so relaxing, and I highly recommend giving it a try. I really hope this video helps out, and be sure to let me know what you think of this in the comments below, and also let me know if you have any suggestions for future videos. If you want to see more stuff like this, then feel free to subscribe, and any likes or shares on this video, they really mean a lot to me. If you want to follow my progress and see photos before I post these videos, then please check out the links in the description box below to check out my Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you all soon.